the exact same as in the practice tests and the practice test 1 and practice test 2. So, and I'll put the recording of this video up. I won't put it up until Monday, so just because I'm just waiting on someone just to finish it off. So I won't put it up till Monday. But yeah, you can rewatch it then on Monday. If I'm going too fast, you can just stop and pause and just check. But all the methods are the same as usual. All right, so let's get going on this. Okay, so I need to get rid of plus 3 here to solve an equation. So I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. X comes down here, and 8 take away 3 then is 5. So that is solving equations. Add 2 to both sides on this one. I need to get rid of the minus 2. So we're left with 2x is equal to 12. Divide by 2 both sides, and x is equal to 6. So if you do remember the answer you got, you can put it in the chat if you want. Let's see if you got it right. This one, it's combining like terms. So there's 5 x's and there's subtracting 3x, or take away 3 x's or minus 3 x's. Either way, it'd be left with 2 x's. Now I've got a positive y here and a 3y, so that's a combination of 4y. This one, I have 3x and 2 x's, so that's 5 x's in total. And I have 1 xy plus 7 xy's, that's 8 xy in total. Okay. Next one. Number of matchsticks, just have to count these up. 4, 12, 20. Okay, so 4, 12, 20. So that's for 2 marks. The rule is plus 8 or add 8. The formula for this pattern then, because the rule is add 8, and remember the formula is y equals, it's going to be 8x, 8 times x. So you could write it 8 multiplied by x, or x multiplied by 8 if you want. And then you can do some noticing here. So 2 times 8 is 16. That's 4 too many. 3 times 8 is 24. 4 too many. So I need to subtract 4 to get my formula here. So 8x minus 4. Okay. This one is substitution question 4. So I need to replace x and y with 2 and 5. So x is 2 and y is 5. So 2 times 2 gives 4, plus 2 multiplied by 5 gives 10, and I have a minus 5 here at the end. Okay, hopefully it'll focus. I can't, it is poor Wi-Fi here. Pauline must know, she's following along so quickly that she wants to know when the results will be on Managed Back. The results earliest will be Tuesday, but I imagine it'll probably be Wednesday. So 4 plus 10 is 14, take away 5 is 9. Okay, so 4 times 2 in this case, minus 2 times 5. 4 times 2 here is 8, minus 2 times 5, which is 10. 8 take away 10 is going into the negatives, negative 2. Okay, this one, factorizing. So a number of people were thrown off by factorizing yesterday, probably didn't quite get to it in the revision. 25 and 15, I have to think of a number that divides into both those. 5 will divide into both of them. And I think of any letters in common, and x is in common. What's left behind? Well, I can do my little division here and just check what is left behind. 25 divided by 5 is 5. There's a y left over as well. 15 divided by 5 is 3, and x into x goes 1, so there's just 3. The x's go away because you have the x outside here. This one I'll do a little bit quicker. It's going to be 4x outside the bracket, and we're left with 3x plus 2 inside the bracket. So remember, these methods are the same as both practice tests. So if I'm going too fast, I did the practice test videos a little bit slower, and you can check those out for factorizing. All right, multiplying here to expand. So remember, expand means multiply, and simplify means to add or subtract. So I'm going to expand first. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, that's the first bracket expanded. The second bracket, 2 times x is 2x. And 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, so 3x plus 2x gives 5x. And then 12 plus 4 gives 16. So that's it simplified. So the first bit was expanding. The second bit is simplifying. So I'm adding 3x plus 2x, 5x, 12 plus 4 gives 16. Okay. Next one. Multiply here. So it's 3 times 2x gives 6x. 3 times minus b gives minus b. 2 times 8x gives 16x. 2 times 8 is 16. And 2 times b is just, well, just 2b. And it's still minus because that's plus. Plus times a minus is a minus. Adding my like terms now to simplify. 16 plus 6x is 22x's. Negative 3b's and then take away another 2b is negative 5b. Okay. Question 7. Now I know you don't have your answers in front of you, but just watching the methods will help you, and perhaps you can remember some if you got them right or wrong. Or maybe you can kind of remember. All right, let's check. The rule here is to add 3. You didn't need to write this if you didn't want to, but it is an attempt mark if you got it wrong. You would have to say the shape number is x and the number of matched 6 is y, or you can use different letters, that's fine. I'd use x and y. Y equals then. So for the rule, yes, you're looking at this line, just the outputs, and seeing what I add. For the formula, it's these two linked then. So I put in x into the formula and I get y out. So adding 3, I saw here is my rule, means 3 times x in the formula. So 3 times, that was always the case. If you're adding the same number, that means it's multiples of 3. So 3 times x is in the formula. And then I see how far away I am from my answer is one way of doing it. So 5 times 3, for example, remember x would be the shape number. 5 times 3 is 15, not 17. So I need an extra 2. Another way of doing it is go back 1 to the 0 term, or to find a constant term. So subtract 3 from 5, and you get 2 as well. Either way. Okay. Next one, some solving equations, some multi-step equations now. So those multi-step masters, let's see how well you guys did. So this one, dividing by 2, I'll get rid of that first because both of these are divided by 2. If I multiply by 2, both sides, we'll get rid of it. What's left behind is 2x minus 10. They were both divided by 2 before, so that cancels out with multiplying by 2. That equals 11 times 2, which is 22. Now I need to get rid of this subtracting of 10 and multiplying of 2. So I add 10 to get rid of a subtraction of 10. So I have 2x here still, equals sign here. 22 plus 10 is 32. Divide by 2 both sides to finish. X is 32 over 2, which is 16. Simplified. All right, this one a little bit trickier, but because this minus 4 is not divided by 3, I can add it to both sides to get rid of it. And that would be my first step. So I have 2x over 3 is equal to 8 plus 4, which is 12. Now I'll get rid of my division of 3 here by multiplying both sides by 3. 2x is equal to 12 multiplied by 3, which is 36. And I can finish off here by dividing by 2 both sides, because 2 times x, the opposite is to divide by 2, and x is 18. This one's a little bit, it causes a few problems. But remember, I want x on its own. So I need to get rid of this multiplying by negative 3. It's negative 3 times x. And this positive 9 here. Now there's no sign in front of it, but it is positive. Remember, if a number doesn't have a sign, it's positive. The same way this 8 you presumed was positive. This 9 is also positive. So to get rid of that 9, I must subtract 9 from both sides. Gone. 9 minus 9. Minus 6, take away 9 then, is minus 15. Minus 3x is still here. Minus 3 times x, to get rid of that minus 3, I divide both sides by minus 3. Minus 3 into minus 3 goes once, fits once perfectly. 3 into 15 goes 5 times. Minus minus is a plus. A minus divided by a minus is a plus, the same way as a minus multiplied by a minus is a plus. All right, so that's the multi-step solving equations. Question 9. So if you sub in 2 and minus 3 here. So 3 times 2 plus 5 times minus 3. 3 times 2 gives me a 6. And, well, 5 times 3 is 15. Okay, I know it's 15. What's the sign in between the two? Well, plus times a minus is a minus. So I have 6, take away 15, and that brings me negative 9. X squared, remember, is x times x, or you can write it xx if you want, which is 2 times 2. Okay, so I replaced x with 2 and y with negative 3. Now, I don't have to write it like this. I can just write it 2 squared. 2 squared, and 2 times 2 is 4. 2, well, this is a little bit tricky. No, substitute. Evaluate then. Evaluate. It's not just substitution. Okay, so 2 multiplied by minus 3, or any order you do this. 2 times 2 first, you get 4, and 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12, and then you have minus minus 12. Whatever way you do this, you get plus 12. Out of that minus, 2 minuses here will make a plus 12. So it's 4 plus 12 is 16. Okay. So if you've got most of the stuff right so far, you're probably on a 4. Most of the stuff. With attempt marks, if you got 1 or 2 wrong, you're probably on a 4. Okay. Moving on to the back page, the harder stuff. So you'd want to maybe get 1 or 2 right on this page and a few attempt marks to get your 5, if that's what you're thinking of. All right, so what number divides into both 25 and 25? Is the biggest number I can think of. What letter divides into both x and y? Well, there's x's in both and y's in both, so xy must be out here. All right, so I'm dividing both by 5xy. Oh, loads of people have it right in the chat, yeah. So what's left behind here? Well, 25 divided by 5 leaves 5. X squared divided by x leaves x. Y squared divided by y leaves one of the y's. Minus 20 divided by 5 gives 4. And x into x goes once, and y into y goes once, so we're just left with that. Yeah. So, yeah, a number of people got it right in the chat. This one, it was almost too simple. But that's the reason I put it there. Just make sure you fully understood factorization. What's the highest number that divides into both 18x and 18? Well, it, of course, is 18. Is there any letters in common? No. So 18 is my highest common factor. What's left behind if I divide both these by 18? 18, okay, we're left with x here. So we can get rid of that. And 18 into 18 here goes once. Okay. All right, so now we're really getting into the super difficult stuff. So there's plenty of attempt marks going for question 11. The first attempt mark will go if you manage to multiply it out correctly. The first stage. So just multiplying here by -2 and here by 7. Okay, let's see. So 12 minus x doesn't change. -2 times 3x is -6x. -2 times -7 is plus 14. And -2 by -7. 7 times x is 7x. And 7 times 3 is 21. That stays plus. There's nothing to change that sign. And -2x at the end. So there's a mark going for that. Now, simplifying correctly is also a step, so that would be a mark as well if you simplify this correctly. So negative x, take away 6x's is negative 7x. And, okay, that's this side, and 12 plus 14 is 26. So remember, when you simplify, you can only simplify a side at a time. You can't simplify across the equal sign. Simplify each side. All right, now 7x, and I've taken away 2x's here, so that's 5x. And there's still that 21. All right, so now we're down to a multi-step equation to finish. If I have x's on both sides, what I can do is get rid of the smaller x. Okay, so that's the smaller x gone. I have 26 here is equal to, well, 12x plus 21. All right, I need to get rid of this 12 and this 21, because I want x on its own. So minus 21 both sides would be a good place to start. So I'm left with, I'm just going to write it up here. 26 minus 21 is 5 equals 12x. And then divide by 12 both sides, and you get x is 5/12, which you cannot simplify. You can write it as a decimal if you want. All right, so that's 3 marks going for that, but plenty of attempt marks there. All right, if you've got everything right so far, you've definitely got a 5. Okay, let's look at question 12. Right, this is a negative number fiesta. Each of these is negative numbers, and there's negatives in the substitution, so in the expression. So let's see how it goes. I'm going to replace each with x with minus 3, y minus 5, and z minus 2. I'm going to use brackets. X, y, z is going to be written like this. Minus 2 times x squared. I'm going to write x squared as minus 3 times minus 3, just to make sure I don't mess up the squaring of it. And z is minus 2. So I'm just replacing each of these. xy would be this times this, so minus 3 times minus 5. Minus yz is this times this, so that's minus 5 times minus 2. Oh my goodness, look at that mess of negative numbers. Take it step by step, and it should be okay. I'm just going to work out this bit. And remember, you were allowed to use the calculator for this. Don't think it's 0. Sure, don't think it's 0. Oh, you never know. This times this times this. Well, 3 times 5 is 15. Minus times minus is positive. So these two together are positive 15. But that positive 15 multiplied by minus 2 is going to give minus 30. Positive times this. So minus 30 is that bit, just this bit. And I'm going to work out this bit next. So 2 times minus 3 is minus 6. Okay, minus 6 times minus 3 is plus 18. Plus 18 times this minus 2 at the end is minus 36. Now, and there was a minus between these two, so I'm going to put, you can just put minus minus, or I'm just going to put the second one in brackets. Okay, underneath we have minus 3 times minus 5, and that's positive 15. All right, this minus is still here, because it was here in the question. Y times z is minus 5 times minus 2, that's positive 10. Right, so we got it this far. Just need to combine this. So that's minus 30 minus minus 36. So that's minus 30 plus 36. So, or you can read that plus 36, take away 30 if you want. Either way, it's 6 over 15. Take away 10. 6 over 15, well, if you want, you can change that into a decimal, or you can keep it as a simplified fraction, perhaps. Divide both by 3, it's a fraction. This is just a fractions question to finish, or you could have used your calculator. 6 divided by 15 is 2/5. Take away 10. And then it'd be, if you use your calculator, it's not minus, minus 9 and 3/5, or minus 9.6, minus 9 and 3/5, because of course negative 10 add 2.5 or 2/5 is going to be this. One of these answers should be fine. And there's attempt marks going here as well. So if you got parts of it right, you will be getting attempt marks, or an attempt mark. Yeah, you can't solve something without an equal sign in the expression, actually. So this is not an equation. Notice the difference. Expression, equation, equal sign, equation, equals. Okay. So same way you can't solve a factorizing, there's no equal sign to let it equal to anything. So you can't, you're only trying to really simplify this, evaluate, get an answer for it. Okay. All right, so that's the majority of marks for the exam. There are these 3 1-mark questions at the end, which are very difficult. So perhaps you gave them a go. There's no attempt marks for these, but maybe some people got them right. I don't know. They were very difficult. All right. Let's try this one first. Okay, so this one I am going to subtract the smallest x from both sides. 2/3 of an x is smaller than x, so I'll do that. Minus 2x over 3 from both sides. Okay, it looks nasty, but I'm following the same rules I've always followed. That disappears. Taking away 2/3 of an x from 2/3 of an x means it's gone. Okay, so I drew a line underneath. Minus 2 comes down here, equals. Well, x, take away 2/3 of x, leaves you with 1/3 of x, or just x over 3. Plus 2 comes down. All right, this is looking a bit better now. So that was the tricky part. It included some knowledge of fractions, and which was unit 2. So perhaps you forgot your fractions, but that's what made this difficult. Now, I want to get rid of this 3 and this 2. I can just subtract this 2 to get rid of this from both sides. That's gone. And I'm left with minus 2 minus another 2. That's minus 4. X over 3 equals minus 4. Okay, to get rid of a dividing by 3, I multiply by 3. So, 3 times minus 4 is minus 12, and x just equals it. And that is the answer. Okay, so I just followed the same systems. It just had a little fraction in it. But I think that threw a few people off. This one, it's very similar to question 11, really. Just multiply out the brackets and then follow the rules. No, Pauline, I'm afraid not. No. So it's right or wrong. So that's unlucky, but you've obviously made a mistake somewhere to get 12 and not minus 12. Okay, so 8 times 3x is 24x. Remember, there's only 1 mark going for each question, so I can't give an attempt mark if you got it almost right. So there's no such thing. 24x plus 24 here, minus x minus 1 is equal to 12. Now, because minus plus 1 is minus 1. Adding like terms, 24 minus x is 23x. 24 take away 1 is 23, so that's like terms dealt with. Now it's just a 2-step equation. Take away 23 to get rid of this. Now 23x on this side is equal to 12. Take away 23 is minus 11. Divide both sides by 23. Oh, 23. And x is minus 11 over 23, which would be an awkward decimal if you did it in decimals. I'm not entirely sure what it is at the moment, but you could have written your answer as a decimal, and it would be correct if you did. Okay, so the last question. Now, this was the one that may have been the hardest question, I think, for some people. Now, this half of the question, this half of the equal sign, the left-hand side, was exactly the same as the practice test 2 question, but with the plus this has a minus, practice test 2 had a plus. So how did we deal with it? Then 4 times half of x is the same as 4 half pizzas. So think about it, 4 half of pizzas is 2 pizzas. So 4 halves of x is 2x. So this is 2x when I multiply it by 4. And it's minus because minus 4. Minus 4 times minus 2 here is plus 8. Okay, that is the left-hand side multiplied out. And that makes the left-hand side a lot easier. Now on the right-hand side, I'm still dealing with this issue. The issue here is dividing by 7, everything. Dividing by 7, everything is the issue. Now, normally what you do if there's x's on both sides is try and get rid of them, one of them. But the problem is, if I add 2x to both sides, this adding of 2x, this is 2x over 7, 2x divided by 7, which is an awkward fraction. You'd be adding fractions. So let's get rid of the dividing by 7. And that was the little trick to this one. I want to get rid of all this division of 7 first. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 7. Multiply this side by 7 and this side by 7. Now multiplying this side by 7 gets rid of that division of 7 on both sides. But I have to multiply both these by 7 now. So we get 7 times this is minus 14x. And 7 times 8 is 56. 5 minus 2x. Over here. That was what's left. Now we are ready to go. The smaller x is minus 14x. Add it to both sides. Nearly finished now. Draw a line underneath. 56 is equal to 5 plus 12x minus 2 plus 14. Subtract 5 from both sides. You get 51 is equal to 12x, and x is equal to 51 over 12. Or you can change that, you can simplify that, I think, to 17 over 4. Or you could say it as a fraction, what's that? 4.25. Okay. Okay, so 4.25. That was definitely the hardest question on the exam. So if you got that, well done. Okay, so the question has been asked again for the second time lesson. When are you going to get these results? So the results for this earliest